Tonight, first responders testify at a murder trial in Kitchener. What police officers told court about the scene of a triple stabbing. Release revoked. Details on a decision to put a man convicted in a stabbing a decade ago back behind bars. Coffee shop closures.
So many people cried on Saturday, man. It was really sad.
The sudden shutdown of some local Starbucks outlets.
I was a little bit surprised and confused, I'd say.
And the lingering questions for customers and affected workers. Good evening. 4 Waterloo Regional Police constables took the stand today at a second-degree murder trial. Dylan Morera is accused in a triple stabbing that killed his girlfriend and seriously injured his girlfriend's daughter and his own mother. The officers told court what they saw when they arrived on scene the night it happened. And a warning, some details in today's testimony are disturbing. CTV's Spencer Turcotte reports.
The Crown called 4 Waterloo Regional Police constables to the stand today, all of whom attended Cayley Court on November 15, 2022 for a triple stabbing. Dylan Morera is accused of killing his girlfriend and seriously injuring his girlfriend's daughter and his own mother. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. First on the stand was Constable Ashley Vanderkook, who was new to the role when she attended the scene nearly 3 years ago. Upon walking into the house, Vanderkook told court, "When you picture a horror film, I just remember seeing blood everywhere." She testified that she saw Morera's girlfriend being attended to by paramedics, but she was not showing any vital signs. Vanderkook accompanied the girlfriend in the ambulance on the ride to the hospital. When Crown Prosecutor Thomas Mack asked whether Morera's girlfriend regained consciousness at all during that ride, she told court, "Not from my understanding." Constable Andrew Chrisman noticed a lot of blood, a lot of chaos when he arrived. Chrisman testified that he noticed a male determined to be Morera injured at the bottom of a set of stairs. He told court that as he got closer with a medical bag, Morera became aggressive. He began swinging his arms in my direction, trying to grab onto me. During cross-examination, defense lawyer Stephen Gale asked Constable Chrisman whether he caused any of the cuts or contusions to Morera's face. "I did not cause them, no," he testified. The Crown then called Constable Brent Reeve to the stand, who testified that he saw Morera with a bandage on his head, yelling and asking for help from his mother. Constable Reeve also recalled seeing a knife in the basement that was smeared with blood. A couple of the officers told court they recalled seeing dogs inside the house. Constable Taylor Smith testified that one dog's neck was injured. The blood was kind of spraying out of its neck. As Smith made his way through the house to secure the scene, he noted that in one bedroom the window frame was covered in blood, and in the children's area there was a significant amount of blood. The trial will resume on Friday when another officer and a toxicologist are expected to testify. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News Kitchener.
A man who stabbed his ex-girlfriend and a Waterloo Regional Police officer in 2015 is back behind bars after having his statutory release once again revoked. Wesley Laforme tested positive for fentanyl, and other concerns were raised about his behavior, leading to that decision. CTV's Krista Simpson here tonight with all the details for us. Krista.
Tony, this is not the first time Laforme has been caught breaking the conditions imposed upon him. Since he was first granted statutory release more than 3 years ago, he has already had 2 suspensions, and this is now the second time his statutory release has been revoked.
In April 2015, Wesley Laforme broke into his ex-girlfriend's home on Morningcom Drive in Cambridge and used a kitchen knife to stab her in the neck, face and shoulder. He then stabbed a responding police officer in the leg. Laforme was sentenced to 10 years for his actions. He was first granted statutory release, a method of reintegration into the community once 2/3 of a sentence has been served, in June 2022. It has been suspended twice and revoked once before due to drug use and a physical altercation. In the latest incident dating back to August, Laforme's urine tested positive for fentanyl. He denied using the drug but did admit to associating with women, potentially breaching a rule that he had to report any relationships. Staff at his halfway house also raised concerns about unaccounted for time in the community, a lack of transparency related to who he was spending time with, and occurrences when people who appeared to be under the influence would come and request to see him, as well as late check-ins and curfews and stealing food. The parole board again revoked Laforme's statutory release, writing, "Your behavior continues to be unstable in the community, and your urinalysis test reveals concerning drug use," noting Laforme was under the influence of drugs when he committed the stabbing. The decision also raises concerns about a likelihood to reoffend, writing, "Your imminent risk of violence towards an intimate partner and towards others is high." The board has also added a residency condition for when Laforme next receives statutory release. He must stay at a halfway house or an approved psychiatric facility, the decision stating you have not presented a viable plan for your release, and it appears you require a significant degree of support, structure, and oversight to manage your risk.
Here's somebody who keeps screwing up on their statutory release heavily and in serious ways in a very risky way.
Criminal defense lawyer Ari Goldkind says this case raises questions about another aspect of the justice system and whether it too needs reform.
If I was a member of the public anywhere near this individual and where he's intended to live on a nightly basis, particularly if I was a woman or a single woman, given his nature of relationships, I'd have a lot of questions about what's going on here.
Exactly when Laforme will be eligible for his next statutory release isn't something that the parole board shares publicly. Tony.
Krista Simpson reporting. Krista, thank you for that. All right, a first check on the weather now as we head over to Alex Pinto. I was going to say on a Monday, but it's not a Monday.
It's not Monday.
It just happens to be a Wednesday that kind of feels like a Monday for us. How can you beat the last 5 days, Alex? That was stunning.
I know. That sun is shining. That warm weather is still with us, and especially for our first day of October. Yeah, we are now in that full fall swing, and it's not feeling like fall conditions out there. Even though today, our high today, 18 degrees, which is pretty close to seasonal. Seasonal for this time of year, 16. So just a couple of degrees above that. But if you were in that direct sunlight, it would have felt a lot warmer for you, especially this afternoon. Looking at our satellite and radar for us this hour, mainly clear conditions. Again, sitting at that 18-degree mark for us this hour. Many other areas also sitting into the upper teens. Hamilton, Toronto, 16 degrees right now. So you're feeling a little bit more seasonal there. If you're by the water, though, Goderich, 21 it is right now. And in terms of above seasonal conditions, especially over the next few days, it is expected to be sunny, warm, but there could be a little bit of rain in our near future. We're going to break all of that down in your full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Tony.
Perfect. See you shortly, Alex. Thank you. Ontario's Auditor General has called out the province's Skills Development Fund in a scathing report. The AG says roughly $750 million in taxpayer money was given out against the advice of government staffers without proper checks and balances. CTV's John Woodward reports.
Not fair, transparent, or accountable.
That's the assessment of the province's Auditor General, Shelley Spence, after looking into the multi-billion-dollar Skills Development Fund, a fund trumpeted by the Ford government in many press conferences about training workers, though Spence found many of those programs were given funding despite the assessments of nonpartisan staff.
54% of all approved applications, representing $742 million in funding, were rated poor, low, or medium against the stated program objectives and criteria.
One low-ranking applicant given $4 million even though it had no experience managing government money. Another low-ranking project, just one person to train themselves. That was approved too. $126 million was given to applicants with lobbyists, including one we first told you about, former Premier's office staffer Amin Massoudi, who shepherded an application for at least $11 million to train people working in restaurants.
If you scored high in your application to this program, you didn't get the money. But if you scored low and you had a lobbyist, then you get the money. To me, that is textbook preferential treatment, or in other words, this looks like corruption.
Opposition leader Merritt Stiles calling for an integrity commissioner investigation, as other party leaders said the fund had
turned into a slush fund that smells and feels like the Greenbelt. It's the usual suspects.
Indeed, CTV News reported Massoudi went for a massage with a Greenbelt developer before the $8.5 billion land swap was rolled back. Massoudi has told CTV News everything in his application was above board. Ontario's Labour Minister appearing virtually at an afternoon press conference.
Did this government really spend hundreds of millions of dollars on low-ranked projects for connected people? Look, I believe in the power of our skills development fund to change lives. And we know with a rapidly changing environment where we need to train workers to meet the disruptive needs of the workforce, that rapid training initiatives work.
A line opposition politicians didn't buy.
That was John Woodward reporting, and there were several other notable findings in the Auditor General's report. CTV's Siobhan Morris with that breakdown for us.
The Canada-wide early learning and childcare program came with the promise to be a lifeline for scores of Ontario parents. But the Auditor General finds the province is off target in creating new daycare spaces, the percentage of qualified staff, and fees.
The $10 a day is achievable, but the next day it may be a problem.
Shelley Spence says the program is about $2 billion short. The funding agreement between Ontario and Ottawa expires at the end of March. The Minister of Education says the feds need to pony up more, but talks haven't really started.
I don't want to make it seem like they're being difficult. They've just had a lot of other things that they've been focused on, but I think parents are also focused on a lot of things and they want some certainty.
While there are more daycare spaces than there were 5 years ago, lower income families aren't getting into them.
There were 31% fewer spaces because of the increasing demand for those lower income families that received this fee subsidy.
In 2023, some 80,000 funded spots sat empty, almost half of the operators in the program running below capacity.
There is a website in the works to centralize wait lists and help families find childcare spaces, but it won't be ready until 2029. I asked the minister responsible if he's okay with that timeline.
I'm not comfortable with that. We've got to move very quickly, and I will be tasking the department to move quicker.
The auditor finds the Home Construction Regulation Authority isn't doing thorough checks and licensing the bodies that build and sell new homes, only checking a credit score, not performance records, or requiring the people overseeing builds to have updated qualifications.
So it's really doing a lot more checking of that application and not just fast tracking it.
The government's reluctant to call for ongoing education until it knows what it will mean for the pace of home building. The auditor sees no way Ontario will come close to meeting its greenhouse gas emission reduction targets for 2030. The government has said as much, but Spence finds the gap is likely going to be much bigger than predicted.
The Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks forecasts likely overestimated the reductions expected from both federal and provincial initiatives across multiple sectors.
Like the elimination of the carbon tax. Spence cautions Ontario didn't factor in effects of things like reducing tolls or potential delays in building out nuclear power. The minister insists they're still trying to get close to the 2030 target, but
we've got to do that in a balanced way. We've got to be agile and nimble in doing that. We've got to protect Ontario, protect jobs, protect families.
But the how is a little hazy. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The federal government has denied a request from Marineland to export 30 beluga whales to an aquarium in China. That decision was slammed by the Ontario theme park, which says it has few options left to care for the marine animals. CTV's Heather Wright is in Niagara Falls tonight, where the fate of those whales is very much in limbo.
The last captive whales in Canada are behind these gates. Marineland, the zoo and amusement park near Niagara Falls, Ontario, had requested an export permit to send its 30 beluga whales to the Chimelong Ocean Kingdom in China, which today was denied by Ottawa as it would have kept the whales in captivity just on another continent.
It is not okay to keep them in captivity for entertainment purposes.
In a statement, Marineland said it was profoundly disappointed in the federal government's decision, saying it leaves them with no ability to pay for the whales' continued feeding and care. The park has not been open in more than a year and is currently up for sale. At least 20 whales have died here since 2019, and in 2021, the province said all marine mammals living here were in distress. One option for the Marineland belugas is to send them to a proposed sanctuary in Nova Scotia, but that sanctuary is not open and has yet to receive the lease and approvals necessary. Melissa Matlow with World Animal Protection is calling on politicians to do what they can to get it up and running.
I believe the sanctuary is ready to accept the whales within a year. I mean, it takes that amount of time to condition whales for transport anyway.
Today, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said the government will do what it can to find the whales a new home.
If we want these whales to survive, we have to move them somewhere.
The fisheries minister said today she is open to other options, but there aren't many easy ones. These whales cannot be released into the wild, and experts say some of them are likely not healthy enough to be moved. Heather Wright, CTV News, Niagara Falls, Ontario.
A new roadmap for a staple in the local travel industry. Coming up later, CTV's Colton Weens has more on the next stop for Kitchener-based Great Canadian Holidays and Coaches.
I'm Karis Mapp in Waterloo outside a Starbucks location that recently closed. This one of 400 locations across North America closing its doors for good this past Saturday, all part of the company's latest restructuring plan. I'll have more on that coming up next.
Well, several of us sitting in that upper teen range. Weather-wise, right now, nice clear sky, that sun still shining. I'll let you know how warm it could get before we welcome the weekend in a couple of days, and your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
One person was left with life-altering injuries after a serious collision last night in Puss Lynch Township. Police say an SUV and a sedan collided on Side Road 10 near Laird Road West at around 9:30 p.m. The sedan driver was treated as a precaution, and their passenger received what police called serious life-altering injuries. The OPP say the 21-year-old driver of the SUV, who received minor injuries, is now charged with careless driving causing bodily harm. Two Starbucks locations in Waterloo are closed for good after the company announced 400 of its stores will be shut down across North America. Those closures are part of the coffee giant's $1 billion restructuring plan. CTV's Karis Mapp is live at one of those shops that were suddenly closed on King Street North in Waterloo. Okay, Karis, a question. Are employees being moved to other stores around the region?
Well, Tony, historically, the company would try to move employees to other stores, but during this round of cuts, 900 people are being laid off. Employees say they found out about the closure on Thursday, and Saturday was their last day. The recognizable logo gone, and a note left on the door. Two Waterloo locations impacted. The company closing stores that are underperforming, but the quick closure leaving regular customers confused.
I was a little bit surprised.
It's just so sad because we would go here all the time, and the one on campus always has such a long line, so it's just such a sad thing to see.
This employee had only worked at the King Street North location for the last couple months, but says they were still shocked when their manager contacted them Thursday with the news.
She was just like, yeah, no, everybody's laid off. And I was like, oh, cool, that's nice. And then I was like, okay, transfers. And she was like, no.
The company says the 400 stores now closed were underperforming. Employees say they were kept busy.
Dude, so busy. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. I don't know if I don't know what's up, because I'm not, like, I'm very new to Starbucks, but like I thought that it was pretty damn busy.
Meanwhile, thirsty customers still looking for their coffee.
We're closed, sorry.
We reached out to Starbucks for comment on the local closures, but didn't get a response before airtime. Saturday marked the store's last day, which proved to be an emotional one.
So many people cried on Saturday, man. It was really sad. I cried on Saturday. I didn't even know these people. But like just like seeing everybody so upset, and seeing everybody like some customers came in with flowers.
All the staff in there were always like super nice and welcoming, and I feel like so bad that they all just lost their jobs so suddenly, so it's just really disappointing.
I didn't know anything about this happening, so you know, I hope they can find an alternative soon.
In terms of future employment opportunities, employees say there has been limited communication from the company.
Essentially what they said is reapply and keep reapplying and cast a wide net.
Though some say their time in a green apron is over.
I think it's put a really bad taste in my mouth.
In a statement posted to the Starbucks website, it says the company will end the fiscal year with nearly 18,300 locations across the U.S. and Canada. Tony.
CTV's Karis Map live in Waterloo. Karis, thank you. Taking a live look outside now. On this Wednesday evening, we've got a sunny evening and we've had a nice day today, although it hasn't been as warm as it certainly was over that weekend. Boy, oh boy, feeling like summer once again. I think we've got a little bit of a warm-up on the way later this week, though. Alex is back in just a couple of moments with those details. Also, Move Over School of Rock, a Guelph choir who've shared the stage with some big-name rockers, adds another legend to their list. And next, Oktoberfest begins. We're heading inside a festival institution, the Concordia Club, for a look at its legacy and a look ahead to this year's itinerary. All right, Alex is here. We are back together again for the first time in a little while. We've had some days off here and there, of course, a holiday, a weekend. Now we're back on track.
We are.
First day of October.
Yes, officially.
Looking ahead to fall.
Yeah.
What I mean, looking ahead.
We're in fall. We're in fall, but it doesn't feel like fall. It is feeling like summer, and if you spent any time outside today especially, you would have been feeling that, especially when standing in that direct sunlight. Even though we were technically seasonal, it felt warmer.
I haven't put the shorts away yet. Or the sandals, or the short sleeve shirts. I mean, short sleeve shirts can go year round, but I was out for a walk this morning and I had the shorts on.
See, you're smart. I put all of my stuff away, and this always happens when I flip my closet. And then we get another, not heat wave. We're not in a heat wave, obviously, but feeling a bit more of that heat. And we saw someone running outside, too. Shorts, tank top, that's the kind of evening it is as we take a live look from King University in Waterloo. Blue sky, that sun's still shining. Not really seeing too many clouds out there this evening as well. So if you're a big fan of that warm summer-like weather, this is definitely the week for you, and especially when we look to wrap up the next couple of days getting into your weekend. But looking at the rest of your evening, mainly clear conditions, not too much activity to report. Getting into Thursday, more so, that's when we could see a little bit of cloud cover start to develop, but expected to see more of that sunshine, more of that warm up too over the next few days, and even getting into the weekend. We're getting back to above seasonal and summer-like again. Temperature-wise, though, at least for us here in Kitchener-Waterloo, we're pretty close to seasonal. Again, it feels a little bit warmer. 16 degrees is what it should be for this time of year. We're currently sitting at 17. In the last hour, we were hitting around 18 degrees, which was our daytime high for today. Many of us, too. Hamilton, Toronto, also sitting in that seasonal territory. If you're by the water, though, Godrich, 20 degrees. It is right now, so just slightly warmer there. Overnight conditions, 5 degrees is our expected overnight low. Nice clear sky expected to stick with us. Not anticipating much fog in terms of overnight getting into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's daytime high, 21 degrees, so this is when we could see things warm up a little bit more. Mainly sunny sky, that UV index sitting at a 6 tomorrow, which is considered to be high. So again, if you are in that direct sunlight, you're definitely going to feel that. So we want to wear the hats. We want to layer that sunscreen still. Yes, we want to see sunscreen in fall. Even when we get into winter, we want to protect ourselves from the sun. So daytime high, like we said, 18 degrees. That's what we saw, and we did hit that officially this afternoon. So just a couple of degrees above normal for this time of year. Record high, believe it or not, 30 degrees is what we saw on this day back in 2019. And overnight low. So again, we're supposed to see about 5 degrees or so tonight, but minus 3.3. We were in the minus territories on this day in 1947. And of course, those days getting shorter and shorter. Yeah, that sun now officially setting just 3 minutes after 7 o'clock. So by the end of the week, we're definitely going to be seeing that 7 o'clock on the dot in terms of that sunset. So over the next few days, this is when things could warm up a little bit. So especially Friday right through to your Sunday, we're going to be sitting in the upper 20s. We should be pretty close to seasonal in terms of overnight low. We might warm up a little bit, but again, that sunny stretch is expected. We could see a bit more cloud cover when we look ahead to your Saturday. For Lambton, Kent, and Essex, mainly sunny sky for you for tomorrow with a high of 23 degrees. And then another warm up expected to start building. Sunshine, 27 for your Friday. And 28 you can get to for your Saturday. So again, it feels a little bit more like we are still in summer, even though, yes, we are in that first official week of October. And southern Georgian Bay, tomorrow it's going to feel a little bit more seasonal for you, 17 degrees, mainly sunny sky. And then that warm up expected to build again. And even your overnight conditions should feel a little bit warmer, a little bit above seasonal for this time of year. And here is tonight's weather watcher picture. I had to pick this one. We are on the first day of October, and what screams October? Pumpkin patches, of course. So this one's sent to us from Paul, who says Juno here was having some fun at the market recently, picking out a pumpkin to take home, and Juno looks like one happy pup. A great weather watcher photo as well, especially when we're getting back into fall farms. We were able to visit one earlier today, and we're seeing all the pumpkins. All the nostalgia is coming back. I love fall farm season. You probably heard me talk about it more than once, but
I love it too. But Juno looks like
really
loves love it more than us. What a beautiful, beautiful pup.
Big smile on that pup too.
And I don't normally draw attention to the record highs, but you noted 30 degrees on this day in 2019, and the reason I remember that is because this is the week back in 2019 that I started here at CTV Kitchener six years ago, and I remember getting here going, is it this hot around here in October all the time? That was a record.
I know, it was a record, but yeah, a day if you were again in that direct sunlight, it would have felt a lot warmer than 18 today.
Yes, we'll take it.
Yes.
We'll take it. Well, here's another great part of this month we're talking about. KW Oktoberfest underway. So now we are featuring the historic clubs and all of the key venues where people celebrate the big Bavarian festival.
That's right. So Leanne and I had the chance to check out the iconic Concordia Club and find out more about traditions there and, of course, new festivities taking place this year. Take a look. We are here at the Concordia Club with President Rob Kurt. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you for coming.
So very, very exciting year. What are some of the highlights that people can look forward to this year?
Well, like usual, our big tent offers many games for people to play. We also have 3 different, I'll call it venues within one. If you want the circus, basically be out in the big tent, a little bit calmer, a little bit quieter in the hall. And if you want to enjoy some fine dining with some nice background music, that's when you enjoy the Schenker.
And this is a club that a lot of people look forward to at Oktoberfest time. You were telling us before there is something new that people can expect this year as well.
Yes, so we've looked at the Wednesday night and we've actually went back, re-geared, and we're doing a honky-tonk at the conch. We're introducing country to the big tent.
I love that. What can people expect on the country night?
So we have a local band called Mojo Cola, along with the Black Forest Band, who usually plays there, and they're going to be gearing more towards country. We've actually talked to a bunch of line dancers, and the event is actually going to once again support the Waterloo Region Food Bank.
Yeehaw.
Oh yeah, so you want to maybe get your shoes on for some line dancing, which would be fun to see. One thing we were chatting about a little bit before too was hyper-local. You're using a lot of local vendors, local ingredients as well. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes. So Waterloo Brewing was our first vendor we brought on about 4 years ago. Now, along with Waterloo Brewing, we have Finest Sausage, we have Heidelberg Meats, we have Waterloo Produce, Grain Harvest Bread House for our buns and different bread aspects, and the pretzels.
Nice. Love that it's all local. It's all, supporting the community as a whole. Well, thanks for sharing some of the history with us and the new things as well for what's to come this Oktoberfest.
Honky tonk at the conch.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome.
There's always something to look forward to, especially for Oktoberfest. And Concordia, of course, such an iconic spot to check out.
Absolutely. And I know, of course, you can see more of that content online, too. We've got some extended conversations about Oktoberfest, and this is just one place you and Leanne will be visiting.
Yeah, we've already, we aired at the Schwaben Club last week. We've got a couple more to look forward to, but yeah, CTVNewsKitchener.ca to see that full interview that aired during the 5 o'clock show if you missed it. So, yeah, lots of Oktoberfest fun.
Good stuff. We can't wait. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
And some sad news we actually want to pass along today. today as well. One of the world's most prominent scientists, Jane Goodall, died of natural causes at the age of 91 today in California. Of course, a love for wildlife and research, which also inspired the Jane Goodall Institute of Canada. CTV's Andrew Johnson now with a look back at a remarkable life.
When a young British woman with a childhood love of primates but little scientific training traveled to Tanzania in 1960, she changed the way we look at chimpanzees.
When I got to Cambridge finally, they were totally horrified. I'd named the chimps instead of numbering them. I talked about them having personalities. I talked about them having minds and being able to have rational thoughts and emotions, happiness, sadness, fear. And all of these things were supposed to be attributes only of humans.
Jane Goodall also found the chimps, like humans, used tools. She incorporated their distinct personalities and family relationships into her work.
Being out in the wild, you know, back when I dreamed of it, there was nobody doing anything like that.
Goodall considered it her lifelong quest to protect the planet.
We've got a window of time, I believe, to start slowing down climate change, loss of biodiversity, to alleviate poverty, to bring to an end the terrible industrial farming, especially of animals, to try and persuade the very wealthy to be a little more considerate of the future.
Goodall married twice and had one son. In 2003, she was appointed a Dame of the British Empire, and she received the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2025.
I want to be remembered for having helped people to understand the true nature of animals, that they do matter as individuals.
Well into old age, Goodall was on the road hundreds of days a year, speaking up for animals and the environment, trying to empower people to do their bit, as she called it, believing millions of people making small changes can make a huge difference. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
A name that says it all. Coming up, the little rescue named Valor, and the people in St. Jacobs helping this brave little boy fight for his future. After 42 years, Kitchener bus company Great Canadian Holidays and Coaches is changing hands. Founders Lorna and Larry Hunt have sold the business to a group of investors, with both new and former owners excited for the future. CTV's Colton Weens explains.
We're not 29 anymore, and while we're still invigorated and love the industry and are never short of ambition and ideas and goals, time is of the essence, and it's time that we stepped back.
For over 40 years, Lorna and Larry Hunt have grown their bus company, Great Canadian Holidays and Coaches, into a thriving business serving customers across the province. But with 3 grandkids to focus on and other endeavors to enjoy, the two have sold the company to a group of investors.
It's in great hands. Our daughter, Michelle, is looking after the tour company. Our present coach manager, Caroline, is looking after the coach company. Nothing's changing. It's in great hands.
This has been our life, right from the time I was a student at University of Waterloo to today. And we've made a lot of memories for a lot of people.
In 1984, the Hunts started Travel Ventures in Kitchener, offering group travel to North American destinations, eventually becoming the Great Canadian brand, expanding to over 50 coach buses, and offering all kinds of trips to customers. The purchasers, which includes KCM Holdings, also bought Tisdale Bus Lines in Northern Ontario, saying it's the perfect opportunity to bring both best-in-class operators together.
We think this is the right time to work with both Great Canadian and Tisdale to grow across the province and even beyond over time. But our focus is Ontario today.
There's no plans to change the logos or locations, and all staff are expected to remain.
We feel very relieved because it has been a long process. Certainly COVID was one of the most difficult challenges we ever had in our business life.
While the business has now recovered from the pandemic, recently Canada's trade war with the United States caused U.S. trips to plummet and forced the business to pivot again.
We loaded up the late spring, summer, and fall with Canadian product like you wouldn't believe, and it's been phenomenal.
We're going to be in good shape to continue memories for people for a long time to come.
Colson Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
All right, let's recap our top stories on this Wednesday evening. Leanne Evans in studio with us with the latest. And Leanne, 4 regional police officers took the stand today in Kitchener at a second-degree murder trial.
Dylan Morera is accused of a triple stabbing that killed his girlfriend and seriously injured his girlfriend's daughter and his own mother. Each constable who took the stand today gave their account of what they saw when they arrived on the scene in Kitchener in November 2022. Each testified there was a lot of blood throughout the home. Some testified that Morera resisted arrest and was aggressive towards the officers. The trial will resume Friday. And a man who stabbed his ex-girlfriend and a Waterloo Regional Police officer in 2015 is back behind bars. Wesley Laforme had his statutory release once again revoked. Laforme tested positive for fentanyl, and other concerns were raised about his behavior leading to the decision. Exactly when Laforme will be eligible for his next statutory release isn't something the parole board shares publicly.
And Leanne, we've got more Oktoberfest news from our digital team over on the website. Details on who the Grand Parade Marshal is going to be this year.
Yes, for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. Of course, this is something everyone in the community looks forward to. Canadian football icon Michael "Pinball" Clemens will be back in KW for this year's event. He was actually the marshal back in 1992 as well, so he's got this under his belt, I think. You can read more about the annual tradition over on our website. Find out more about, what's happening, when the parade starts, all those good details. Tony, CTV News Kitchener.ca. Can't wait for it. It'll be a good one.
We are in for a treat. Anyone who's met Pinball knows that he's a ball of energy. I hosted a lunch once where he was the motivational speaker. Nothing this guy can't do to lift up a crowd, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's going to bring the energy.
Yep, we're looking forward to it. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
A little puppy in Kitchener is looking for a leg up. At just 5 weeks old, Valor lost the use of his back legs and was surrendered to a rescue in St. Jacobs. Vets say Valor needs physical therapy to regain his strength. And as CTV's Alexandra Hollick tells us, he's putting his best paw forward.
Step by step and hop by hop, this little puppy is making big strides in his road to recovery.
He does have some function in his back legs, but you can see it's not perfect.
His name is Valor, a nearly 2-month-old mini poodle golden retriever mix.
He had had his vaccination at 5 weeks, and within hours he lost all use of his back legs.
Hobo Haven Rescue founder Chris Schaefer says she was contacted by a commercial breeder who had a puppy that wouldn't sell.
They decided it would be in his best interest to surrender him to a rescue.
Schaefer says she's worked with similar breeders in the past. For her, the dogs are the top priority.
We've got 20 years solid reputation of thank you for letting us save the dog instead of destroying it. Have a nice day. Because if we don't have that relationship, the dogs don't get to come.
While it's not clear what caused Valor's condition, Schaefer says his genetic makeup may have played a role in hindering his hind legs.
You cannot guarantee a definitive answer. The fact that both legs stopped versus one indicates it was either in a spinal nerve or a genetic reaction to the vaccine itself.
Right now, the little pup lives in a foster home, but he's determined to regain full control.
It does involve physiotherapy, quite extensive and lengthy physiotherapy, so that's most likely what's in store for him.
But rehabilitation comes at a cost.
It depends how long he has to be in physio. It's not inexpensive.
The rescue says it'll do whatever it takes to get Valor and other pets the help they need.
And then carefully screen and select the right family who understands his background, understands his risks with vaccines, and is prepared to love him unconditionally.
Hobo Haven Rescue is collecting donations online and will be holding an in-person fundraiser in St. Jacobs this weekend. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News.
All right, the Jays were back out on the field today getting ready for playoff baseball this weekend. We'll tee it all up for you next. The Toronto Blue Jays hit the field today for the first time since clinching the American League East Division title. Fans could take in an intra-squad game, the team getting ready to open the AL Division Series Saturday. CTV's Sean Lee Thong with this look.
They came racing to their seats for a chance to see the Jays up close.
It feels a little bit surreal, but it feels great.
A bit of October baseball before the real thing. How's a hot dog? The Blue Jays are holding an inter-squad game at the Rogers Centre today while waiting to start the American League Divisional Series, inviting fans for a first-come, first-served seat at a reduced price.
So how much did you pay for your tickets?
$10.
$10 for the best seats in the house. What's that like?
I feel like I'm getting away with something.
The game between Team Blue and Team White features a mixture of regular Blue Jays and farm team Buffalo Bisons, but the opportunity had a few thousand fans scrambling to get to the Rogers Centre.
It's electric. It's so exciting. So we really got into the Jays last year, which was a bit of a different feeling. I'm not sure if you knew. But it's been so exciting.
And just, you know, the opportunity, I mean, $10 seats, you can't beat that. And especially all the hype around the Blue Jays. And getting a chance to sit on the 100 level for that price and be this close to the excitement and hopefully, you know, get the Jays a little fired up for the postseason.
But as much as this inter-squad game is fun for the fans, the players say that it's something they need to stay sharp.
When you play every single day, you kind of get a little bit of baseball withdrawal, you know, myself included, to where you can get a little stale. So hopefully we can replicate a little bit of energy.
The Jays await the winner of a best 2 out of 3 wildcard series between the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees. So today is all about preparation.
I think it's leaning into any opportunity we have to prepare in a better way and optimize some of the rest.
And bringing in the fans is about helping the players feel close to a regular game atmosphere.
Players said, we want you there. They need us. They know that part of their success this year has been because of us screaming in the stands. So anything they need from me, I'm here.
And of course, because we're all wondering who the Jays are going to take on, on the weekend, Boston, you know, leads that wild card series 1-0. Right now, though, Boston and the Yankees tied at 2 in the bottom of the 3rd in Game 2. All right, Alex, over to you.
Yeah, not too bad for some October baseball weather-wise, too. Feeling more summer-like there. 17 it is here in Kitchener-Waterloo still. So close to seasonal, but feeling a little bit warmer. We're going to take a look at how cool it is to start off your day and wake up weather coming up. Here's a look at your Wednesday night lineup at 7 o'clock. It's The Floor before shifting gears, airing at 8. Then stick around for back-to-back episodes of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage before The Amazing Race, airing at 9:30.
5K a Day is back on 105.3 Virgin Radio. Listen to Jeff KP and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Leanne's back with us now for a look at what we're following for later tonight. Leanne.
Well, Tony, it is a new chapter for the Stratford Festival. For the first time in decades, they will be welcoming a new artistic director to the team. Jonathan Church has signed an initial term of 5 years and will officially resume the role next November. We'll have more on what Church brings to the table tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Alex is here with a look at our wake-up weather for Thursday, and dare I say, another warm-up on the way.
Yeah, warm-up on the way, but not before we start with some chilly conditions in the morning. If you're someone who wakes up a little bit early, I'm usually up around 6, so I definitely notice it first thing in the morning. 4 degrees, that's what we're expected to hit. Partly cloudy conditions. Then by 10, we should be getting to about 12 degrees, mainly sunny sky, and then that warm-up will start to continue Thursday right through to the weekend, where it's going to be, again, above seasonal.
That's almost frost territory.
Almost. We're getting there.
Just about. we're on the bubble. Okay, finally tonight, a Guelph high school choir is a real-life school of rock. This is amazing. The choir shared the stage once again today, this time with rock legend Alice Cooper.
That's pretty neat. So CTV's Ashley Bacon reports the students at Guelph Collegiate Vocational Institute are just getting started with their musical aspirations.
School is in session for this group of Guelph teenagers, but with a twist. Taking the stage with Alice Cooper Monday night in Toronto.
I watched The Muppet Show. I was 3 years old and I remember seeing him, and so he just kind of felt like a character. Like he didn't feel like a real guy. and he's so huge, and even just walking into his dressing room and seeing him sitting there, it's like, it just felt like a fever dream.
This isn't the first time the choir has performed with major stars. Singing along with Melissa Etheridge in April. And Foreigner when their tour rolled through town.
They were so supportive of our kids from the get-go. We were sending them rehearsal videos. They would give us feedback on things. The kids were learning how to adapt, sometimes at the last minute, in terms of what's actually needed to put on a show of this magnitude.
A pinch me moment that seems to happen over and over for this group.
To have that opportunity is not something I don't think any of us in the choir took lightly at all. It was just something we know that we're incredibly lucky and we appreciate it so much.
Just like seeing like the whole crowd of people just watching us, and we're just like all singing together. It was just so much fun.
Even Cooper getting hands-on, helping them get performance ready, assisting Jane Wood apply her stage face.
And we want to choose you because like she knew that I kind of was a fan already. And I was like, if that happens, I will burst into tears and I will cry.
Memories and skills for a lifetime of entertainment.
They gain skills, their brains are being exercised in different ways to connect with different kids. And nothing matters more to me fundamentally than making kids good kids.
Although Osborne is remaining tight-lipped, she tells me that there is another musical performance slated for this fall, but those details will be released in the coming weeks. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Guelph.
Well, if that isn't a tease, and with connections like they have, I just wonder who's next.
I was going to say, how are they getting on stage with these big names? I need to know.
I don't know. We'll get to that part of the story and figure out who's next in the weeks to come, I suppose. We'll see you at 11:30. Have a good night.
Take care.